back to the Brunch Beauty Life podcast. I'm your host, Connie, the inspiring stylist.
And I'm Ashley, naturally Ashley Rowe. Trying not to laugh, but yes.
Make sure you are following us on all platforms, Brunch Beauty Life podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow us.
As well as on social media. We are on there as well. And you can also send any questions, topics, or concerns to our Gmail, which is
going to be at the bottom.
At the bottom.
Absolutely. All right. So let's get into today's topic. Today we are going to be talking about vetting. The process of vetting in business as well as personal.
Yes, it's very important to vet the people. I think typically most things vetting is like background checks or things like that, which in business I definitely feel that is a must. Mm-hmm. But there are things that you can do to vet the person, even through the interviews, as well as in your personal life on vetting them by observing their qualities.
Mm-hmm. So let's dive into business. Background checks, right? Mm-hmm. Definitely do background checks on everyone because you want to know who you are bringing into your establishment, for one. Yes. Now, background checks, some people may have a history, some people maybe have a past. So you just don't stop at what's on the paper.
Yes.
Right? So some of the questions that we like to do in our vetting process, one, first and foremost, in the beauty industry, of course, we want to know, like, why did you decide to enter into this industry? What's driving you to be in this industry? Like, do you have a passion for it? Are you just good at it? Or is it something you just decided to try?
And I think that's an important question because I actually don't think I asked that when I was interviewing some of my stylists. So, note to self, to do that. But that is a very important question because then it gets you to see what's their intentions. I think intentions are very important when you are hiring someone. And also, diving deeper into what the background check says. I think that the background check just helps with verifying their honesty.
Okay.
Because always you want to be honest whenever you're going into a situation.
Right.
And so if you do the interview and they do all their application stuff and they don't say that they had some type of criminal past or, arrest record, and then you do the background check and see that there are those things, then it's like, okay, if you had been honest about it, we could have discussed it and seen what we could do from there. But now you've not been honest. So I think that it's very important to be honest and also, make sure that what you say on that application is going to reflect in that background check.
Absolutely. I think also a part of the vetting process for business is expectations. Yes. Not just for the business owner, but as well as the stylist, right? So as a business owner, I'm going to tell you my expectations of you. And as your stylist, or as the stylist coming into the business, you should have your expectations of the business owner too, because we have to work together in this, right? And it's not all, it can't be one-sided. So exactly. I think it's good to kind of voice that on both sides because, for example, if you're in a commission-based salon, right, that's different from a booth rent salon. Yes. So as a commission stylist, if you're fresh out of school, your expectations of the business owner might be from a learning aspect. Like, hey, I'm new out of school. My expectations is to come into an environment where I can thrive, sharpen my skills, and learn, right? And so as a stylist, if you don't know to kind of ask that in a question form or kind of set that expectation, then you might enter into a salon where it's like fend for yourself. Yeah. And then you're not getting what you need as a stylist.
Exactly.
So I think expectations on both from the stylist as well as the owner. So that way you can make an agreement. You can make a decision like, okay, is this going to be a good fit for us?
Yes. And then also when it comes to vetting as a business owner, use your network. I think a lot of times we don't want to, it's not necessarily like bashing or bad talking someone, but using your network. So, and it's very important also to build a network. So a network of stylists that or business owners that or even if you're in the beauty industry, going to the schools and building a network with the people at the schools. Because as they are getting out of the school, they're going to graduate and then they're going to be on the hunt. They're going to be looking for, oh, okay, this is a salon that I'm interested in. But if you have a relationship that you've built with the person at the school, then you can say, hey, how was this person as a student?
Oh, yeah.
Were they attentive? Were they,
how
dedicated?
Was their attendance?
Well, yeah, how was their attendance? Were they dedicated? Were they, just kind of lackadaisical about the experience? So that helps you to grow in your vetting so that you're making sure that you're getting the stylist that best fits or the employee that best fits your business needs. So using your network, I think, is very important. We have a network. We talk to each other. And that's how I got Sasha, one of my... Hey, Sasha. A wonderful stylist in my business, and also she's my salon manager. And, I was looking for a stylist and was not having the best of luck in getting those responses. And I let you and Tika know, and Tika interviewed Sasha, and she was like, well, her time frame is not going to work best for our business, so, would you like to interview her? I think that she would be great. And so I was like, okay, there's no harm in doing that.
Exactly.
And that I received my best experience and best stylist and best everything with someone new in my salon with Sasha. And it was through my network.
Yeah.
So use your network. Don't be afraid to build a network, or don't be afraid to talk to other people and see what they can offer you as far as advice, as far as help, but also as far as information when it comes to vetting.
One thing I like about vetting, so, okay, let's say after the initial interview, you get all the green flags, and you're like, hey, okay, you know what, let's give this a try. That's exactly what we do. We give it a try, a trial period. We let every stylist know you're going to come in on a 30, 60, 90-day period. It takes about 3 months for us to really make a decision if you are hired on permanently or not. Because sometimes in an interview, we've had stylists talk a good game.
Oh, yes.
They come in real strong and going hard for this job. And then once they get on, they just fall off. They're not the team player that they said they were. They committed to these hours, but now all of a sudden you're leaving early every day. So we have 30, 60, 90-day trial periods. And so in that vetting process, 30-day, 60-day, 90 days, we meet and review. Okay, from our standpoint as the business owner, this is what we see, this is what we need from you. And then for the stylist, it's like, well, what do you need from us? How can we help you to thrive in this environment? So again, working together. But that process, that trial period, that probation period rather, I think is a good vetting, because then when you don't know nobody until you get to be around them, right?
Exactly.
and just like personal relationships, which we'll get into later, when you're working in a salon day in and day out, you spend more time with the people that you're working with versus your family. So you don't know people until you really get around them. And that's a good time to kind of see, like, okay, is this really going to work for this establishment?
Yes, and I think that's very important to have that 30, 60, 90, because you want to make sure that, that if the stylist is not happy, then they don't have to stay. And if you're not receiving the things that you were thinking you were going to receive from the person, that you can let them go as well. I also like to vet in different ways as well. Okay. So, of course, social media. I check and see what they are doing on their social media. How are they presenting themselves? How are they promoting themselves too? Because with, them coming under my umbrella, they're going to get access to my clientele, but how can you build? How do you work towards building? So I go and look and see how they're doing for themselves as far as how they promote themselves. But then also, what are you posting? Yeah.
Now, that is a big one. That is actually a big one. I know I know Tika, I know my partner, she would be one like, so what's your Instagram? And we'll get the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok, the LinkedIn,
Yes.
we'll get everything and really look, because where you're going with it, how you portray yourself on social media can give insight as to what can we expect from you.
And also how you're going to represent the business.
Right.
So, it's not about what your personal views are, because you're allowed to have your personal views. That's your personal life, it's your personal views. But how are you representing yourself, and how that you will then do that with our business? Because if you are out here turn up Sally all the time, there's nothing wrong with a turn up as long as you come in the next day and you're ready to go. But then also, how are you conducting yourself when you're out? So
if you always popping off, popping off, or you always in a lot of conflict or drama, then that is like not passing judgment or whatever, but it's just something that we keep in our wrinkle to see how you interact with in this industry, the stylist that you're working with, right? Because if you or in an interview, I've heard this a lot over the years. Well, I don't do a whole lot of female friends because me and women don't get along. Well, that's a red flag.
absolutely.
That's a red flag if you're already coming into it like that, right? Because now we got other stylists, which for the most part are women, and you're already coming in with this mindset or this demeanor. So now we have to watch out for that. Or when you ask about their other salon experience, if that's relevant, right? And if it's always the other salon's fault. Well, I was at this salon and, then I went to this salon and it was like, and you start kind of hearing through conversations, you start hearing similarities, but, common denominator.
It's you.
I wasn't going to say that, but you said it.
It's you. And also another way that I like to vet too is, which I also, while I thought it was great that you guys would, do us like, they would take us out to eat like a breakfast or a lunch or dinners and things like that. And that was great. But I also looked at it as a moment of vetting. Because then you get to see how they are when we're out together as a team, how they're treating the wait staff. I will also even say how they're ordering. Because like I was already appreciative, right? But I'm not about to order,
the filet mignon, the most expensive. Let me get them oxtails. Let me get the most expensive thing on the menu.
When I know that if I go to Famous Toastery, I'm just gonna get these eggs and some grits and maybe a pancake and an orange juice, and now I'm ordering a carafe and a mimosa flights. So it's different things that also show basically intentionality, also how they feel about you, what they think about you. Oh, like, oh yeah, they treat me. Oh, they got it. Well, no, you don't want to use the people. This is a great experience that they're giving, right? So those are different things that I can see when I'm with my team. That's another form of vetting. And also, especially what's important to me is how you treat the wait staff. So if you're rude to the waitress, or I feel like that, that's like a red flag to me, because they're in service just like you. Right?
That's true.
So, how you're treating them shows me how you view service, which then will make me question how you're going to service my clients.
I think something else that we look for during that whole interview process of vetting, if are you on time or are you late to your interview? Do you have an excuse to why you late? Because you're already starting off wrong. If we set this interview for Monday morning at 9 a.m., and then it's like, oh, I forgot, or, well, can I come in later or tomorrow or whatnot? Nope. Because now you're not respecting of time. And everybody they know me, that is my biggest pet peeve is time.
I'm feeling so bad.
It's time. So that's also a part of the vetting. How did they start off the interview, or how did they come into the interview? Did they look like they're serious about trying to work in this industry?
Yeah, I also think it's also about, if things were to happen, let's say, because natural progression of things happen even when you're trying to get this wonderful experience, something could happen, tire blowout, things like that, or, child gets sick. It's about how you present or how you get on top of it. So if you do have to push or need to push the interview back, that you didn't wait till the day of to say that you need to push the interview
or
back.
5 minutes after the interview was supposed to start.
Yeah, and then call. But if you call, like, say, hey, I'm so sorry to reach you at this late hour. This and this has happened. I really am interested in this process. I just can't get there at this time. Is there any way possible I can come in later or anything like that? And I completely understand, but this is what my situation is.
Right.
That's a whole different type of situation than the day of. And I feel the day of, now I'm an afterthought. You didn't really want this. You didn't really think about my time as well, because especially for us, Stylist International days off pretty much is Sundays and Mondays, right? And Sunday is so that you can have your actual full day off, and Monday is a day where you can actually run errands, because as a stylist, we are getting in the morning and sometimes not getting out till in the evening. We don't really have a chance to run errands. So if you mess up my errand day,
or your sleep in Sunday,
when I could have been doing something or sleeping, I'm hot like fire already. So, like, fire. Oh, and this is the anniversary, I believe. That's a little timestamp on it. But either way.
Yeah, look, that's beyond the topic, but I did see that.
Yes. So, but that's a key indicator of how that person views the opportunity that you're giving them. So that's all the great stuff about vetting in business.
Right.
So vetting in personal relationships and things like that.
So I really think that you should start this topic, because I think they need to know how we even came up with the topic of vetting.
So, of course, Connie and I spend lots of time together, because I just love her.
We actually like each other.
We actually like each other.
Friends.
I actually love her. So, we were out on a Sunday. I've been having it rough for about a month and a half now with work.
Rough.
We've both been having it rough with life and work. Mine is more work and yours is more life. Life
is lifing right now.
And it's mainly just the fact of, sharing the same journey of when you are becoming the caretaker of your parents. That's a whole nother episode. But welcome her into the club, because I'm already there. But we were out at a bar, Harold's.
Yeah, Harold's Chicken and Ice Bar.
Yes, it's really nice. Great food.
Try that egg roll. Woo.
It's black owned, right?
Yeah, it is black owned.
So something to do here in Charlotte University area. And so we were there, and this gentleman was at the bar in a similar profession as us.
Yeah.
And we were just having conversations, and he was making generalizations about women. And how you say submission to a woman, oh, she ready to fall back, and this and that, and the woman won't let me see my child, and and I just want peace. And all I could hear in the conversation was, I was just like, okay, well, that's how she is now. But did you vet her in the beginning? Because if you had made the right choices when you were vetting her, you wouldn't have been in a position with a woman that won't let you see a child. You know what I'm saying? Because she would have shown some of those qualities of being, and what I think that is petty. Especially if there's not a reason for any harm, hurt, danger coming towards a child by being with the parent. Then by you keeping the child from the parent, I feel like that's just petty behavior. So, but you probably saw that she had petty behaviors along the way, but you still went into the relationship with her and made a child. Right. So I feel like, vetting is important when you're dealing with personal relationships. So whether it be friendships or, significant other. Yeah. So what are your vetting tools in relationships?
It's funny that you mentioned friendships, because when I moved to Charlotte, some years ago, I moved here with no friends, and along the way have gained some friends. But even in this moment, it's weird to try to be friends with someone. It is a whole still a vetting process when you meet someone new and you're trying to establish okay, what is this purpose? What is the purpose of this interaction? Is this something that we could do business, or is this going to form a friendship or whatnot? So vetting really just carries on in all aspects, but specifically in relationships, and I've had to learn from my own mistakes.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all? But one of the biggest mistakes that I would make in relationships is that I move too fast. Like, we can meet, we can like each other, and then boom, we in a relationship, right? just like that. That's how fast it could go.
Okay, J-Lo.
Okay. But
I'm J-Lo too. Let's not get it twisted.
I
love too. So,
but in all those situations where it started off fast like that, usually around month 3, but leading up to month 3, you kind of see those little red flags, right? Mm-hmm. And then most of the time, the relationship or whatnot could end, or it's one of those things like, dang, had I known this, we probably wouldn't have got into a relationship. So vetting for me looks like taking time to get to know the person, instead of just jumping into it, right? Just like really getting to know the person. And when I say like it's not about having a whole team and trying to get to know this person. That's just too much time, effort, and energy to be trying to keep up with.
So you don't have a roster?
No. No.
I believe in a roster. No. I believe the roster helps you vet properly. Listen, I'm not saying I have a roster at this time. I'm just saying that I do believe in a roster. Why are you looking like that, Shar? I don't appreciate that, especially with the fact that you didn't say you didn't want to come on now.
Hold on. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with having a roster. There's for those that date that way. I mean, because I've actually heard things when it comes to dating that a lot of people make mistakes by putting all their eggs in one basket, because then you're just focusing on this person and you don't know nothing but this person, instead of getting to experience other people. But then I would kind of say that they might come from like just knowing you yourself and what you like. And what you're looking for, like knowing what you're looking for, because then if you're dating, if you are clear about that and you know what it is that you're looking for, then I think focusing in on one person might not be that bad. Whereas if you're kind of like just trying to figure it out, then you might get this from this person or this from this person. But nevertheless, I think it's about collecting data, getting to know the person. For example, let's say in this time period of us getting to know each other, you're doing something I don't like, right? Mm-hmm. I should be able to voice what it is that you're doing that I don't like, how it makes me feel, why, and maybe, suggestions on how we can, move past this, right? And if you look at it like, that's your problem, well, obviously that's a red flag, because, I mean, that's what I can expect from you moving forward. Right? So that's going through that whole like vetting. Like, you got to get to know the person. You got to know how this person responds when they're upset. Do they lash out at me? Are they going to talk to me crazy?
Yes.
Because then that goes into like abuse. That's a form of abuse. People lashing out, talking to you any type of way, hitting below the belt and stuff. So again, getting to know the person. I've had better success when I've taken time to get to know the person, not necessarily trying to place a title on something so quick, and just kind of being okay with being okay and kind of letting it be. Not saying like, oh, we're just going with the flow, because I know that's what it kind of sounds like, going with the flow.
No,
but I think there needs to be like I'm dating with intention. So when I talk to someone from the beginning, I let them know like, hey, I am dating with intention. So if you're not dating with intention of something serious and you just kind of want to, go with the flow and have fun, then I know from that moment that's not what I'm looking for, right? Yeah. So I think it needs to just be a conversation. What are your intentions?
Well, I also think that there's a difference between going with the flow and not having any type of title or anything that versus dating exclusively. Yeah. So, saying that we're dating exclusively doesn't mean that we are in a relationship, meaning that we're not going to see other people, versus saying, oh, we're just going to chill and go with the flow and just see how it goes, is just too much up in the air. Yeah. Dating exclusively says, I like you, I'm honing in on you, but we're still not in a relationship because we've not had that conversation. Right. I believe a relationship is a conversation. Yeah. And until I have that conversation, we are not in a relationship. Mm-hmm. We are still just getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. Now, unlike you, I have to have a roster because of the fact that you are J-Lo in love like with the, you get all in and you hone in on that person, right? I'm J-Lo where I will, like, if I like you, I really like you, and I'm going to hone in on you, and I really like you, and I will avoid and stop looking mainly for, like, any red flags and put all my attention and my energy into you. Mm-hmm. The roster helps me keep my mind clear.
Okay.
It helps me be like, you know what, I really, really like you, and, but I need to be able to see the picture clearer. Mm-hmm. So then I have different people on the roster for position. But we ain't talking about rosters anyway. I'm just making that clear. And I'm also not dating right now. So that's a new development for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not dating anyone at this time. I don't want to date no one because I just want to love on me right now. But when I am dating, vetting to me, my sister basically calls me the FBI. FBI. She said I should go work for the FBI because I am investigating and I am going to research you just like I research anything that I do. I'm going to look for the reviews. So...
Are you calling up the ex-girlfriends like, what would they say?
I'm not calling up the ex-girlfriends, but I'm reading them comments underneath them posts. I sure am. I'm scrolling through, and I have time.
Oh, no.
On certain days, I got time, and I will scroll, and I'm very intentional on my research. I'm also vetting how you are when we're together. I'm vetting your consistency. I'm vetting how you stand on your word. If you say you're going to call me back and then you don't call me back, that's a mental note. That's a vetting tick right there. Mm-hmm. I'm vetting to see how you are when we go out places. What's your take on how you're going to be? If you're, accommodating, if you're not. I believe in chivalry. I like all my doors open. Mm-hmm. Car, door.
Pull out the chair.
I want my chair pulled out. I want a coat offered to me. If you notice that you should notice that I'm shivering. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. So I'm watching and paying attention to all those things. I'm watching how you treat, again, the wait staff. That matters to me. I'm watching how, if I do get to meet your friends, how is your relationship with your friends? How do you interact with your friends? Also, how do you talk about your friends and their relationships? That gives me insight as well. Mm-hmm. I am listening to whatever you are going to offer. And I've learned that sometimes if you sit back and listen, you can hear everything.
Everything. And
a lot of people give all their tales just by sitting there and listening. That was something that I had to learn myself because I learned and read this book, The Man God Has for You. Stephen Speaks. Okay. I don't think that's his name on his book, but that's him on Instagram. Either way.
Okay.
And he said to stop giving the playbook, right? So I would go on these dates and be very transparent. This is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. And I'm giving all of my standards. I'm giving him the playbook. So all he has to do is play into the book, right? Mm-hmm. That might not even be who he is. So I'm not even seeing fully who he is. Mm-hmm. So now, instead of giving all that away, I keep that a little close. Mm-hmm. I'm watching and I'm listening. Mm-hmm. So that's my vetting process. I'm doing research.
Okay, research.
And I'm observing and I'm listening.
Observing and listening. I like to observe, watch, and listen. Ow.
I like that. Everybody, do your owl. Observe, watch, and listen.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite tattoos because that's just kind of how I am. I like to observe, watch, and listen. Yeah. I'm not talking. I'm observing. Mouth is closed. I'm watching. My mouth is closed, and I'm listening. My mouth is closed because you gather more when you're just quiet. Mm-hmm. And you're actually listening. If you're just doing all this talking, you miss things. You miss things. So that is, I do like your standpoint on that. I think I would like to also add, too, when it comes to kids, right? Because I do have kids.
And I don't have them yet.
That's okay. You will. How are you when it comes to my kids? Because, I can't be in a relationship with you if you're not good with my kids. That's like an absolute deal breaker right there. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important for people that's dating with kids. Is this person going to be safe? Keep your kids safe, respect your kids, and all of that stuff. I think that's important. And I think, too, when I am, dating and working on that process to get to know someone. So, like you said, if you give them the playbook, they play into it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's to me where that period comes in of taking your time, because you'll see if this is truly who they are when you take your time. Mm-hmm. If you fall for that too quick, you be like, oh my God, he did this, he does this, he does that, he does that, and you fall in it too quickly.
He even took the kids to Chuck E. Cheese so I could take a nap, which is something you said you wanted someone to do, right?
And so, and when if they're all of this in the beginning, but you continue to take your time, then you will find out naturally if this is really who this person is, or if this was just something that they're doing to get you. Because it's hard to keep things up when that's not you. If that's not who you are, really are, it's really hard to maintain that for a long period of a time.
And although I don't have children, I've dated men with children, so that's part of vetting too. How are you treating your child? How much time are you spending with your child? And also, how are you treating the other parent of your child? Mm-hmm. And also what that relationship looks like. Because I believe that mature adults understand that it is about the children. Mm-hmm. So if you're engaging back and forth in a petty war with her, it's a no for me. Mm-hmm. Because, she can still have that and be petty and all this and that, but if you're engaging, then that's also you not putting your child first and being the energy that needs to be. I
also think that's embarrassing for you.
Yes.
Too, because I can actually recall, dating someone that was going through it with their baby mom, and we're supposed to be dating or together or whatever, right? But you're going through it with her, and then you're posting about it on social media, calling her out, putting her on blast and stuff like that. How do you think that makes me feel if I'm supposed to be your girlfriend?
Yeah.
That doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make me feel secure. It's actually embarrassing to me, because then if other people know, it's like, but that's your girlfriend, but you're doing all of this in public, on social media, going back and forth. There's clear signs that you're not over it, because when someone can just hold on to that or get you out of character like that, you're not over the situation. So I pay attention to stuff like that too.
Yeah, exactly, like they're not over it, but also watching the disrespect.
Right.
So then to see you disrespect her in that way publicly,
this is how you could do me later on.
That this is how we could end up in that same situation. You're not about to disrespect me publicly, you know? And so it's just all these things that tie in. If you're vetting correctly and really observing and watching and listening and noticing those red flags and those signs that are completely glaring, right? Then it could prevent you from getting into a situation that is long-standing with that person.
And I think for ladies, I'm not going to just say for ladies, listen, right? Because this goes for the ladies as well as the man. Listen to the person you're talking to, because they're telling you who they are.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. I hear a lot of stuff on social media, and they be like, ladies, listen, when a man says this is what he means. That's true, too, but I think it's true, too, for the man that's dating these ladies. Right? Listen to it. Don't get caught up so much in what you want and what you're looking for that you make it make sense in your mind, because that's what our minds are meant to do. We take something, we try to make it make sense. We try to make it fit into what it is that we want. And that's just like I hear a man, for example. So since we're ladies and when we dating men, a man can say clearly, hey, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not ready for that, right? But then as a lady, you might be like, okay, well, he's honest with me or whatnot. And then you gauge into sexual activity with him or whatever. And then 6 months down the line, he's still like, you're like all invested into it because this is who you're with and all of this stuff. And you're like, oh my God, blah, 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 da, da, da.
And then you've also a lot of time to connect emotionally,
spiritually, all of all of that. So then 6 months later, he's like, well, I told you I wasn't ready for a relationship, and then you're upset. Because somewhere in our minds we try to make it make sense, or we think, oh well, they'll change their mind once they get to know me,
and they don't.
So you have to take what a person says for exactly what they say. Don't try to make it. Don't add some extra words to make it fit into the description that you're looking for. Take it, believe it, and then you make a choice.
Yes, because right now, as I always state, I'm almost 40, and like 3 or 4 months now.
Oh, we in the last quarter to that birthday.
And I am being I just feel in my everything that I want to be intentional on myself. So right now, I'm only concerned with my wants and my needs. And therefore, I don't think I should be engaging in any type of pseudo possible or any type of relationship with anybody because I don't have that to give, nor do I want to.
Okay.
But I'm not even trying to engage with anyone to be in that way with me. And so I think that you have to also be like very clear and transparent when you're out there, knowing what space you're in. Because I've had a guy be like, oh, you know what? We should get out of our comfort zones and go bowling. And I'm like, I don't want to go bowling. I don't like bowling. So I'm not going. And he was like, well, you don't want to. No, I don't. I'm not going to, and I don't. And I don't want to. But I've already told him, I am in my space of intentionality towards me. In a relationship, you have to compromise and have intentionality towards that person. I'm not there. So I'm not doing it.
So now we've talked about business and we've talked about relationships and vetting. Do you vet friendships like that too? So, let's say, you know how it is with us girls and we go out and we be like, oh, you look nice, queen, and all of that other good stuff. And just like socially at the bar, we get to talking to people, right? Yes. And so what happens when maybe you and a female come in contact with each other in exchange? Like, how do you vet that process to decipher, like, okay, is this going to, form into some type of networking relationship or like a business connect to where we might can feed off each other in whatever field that we're in? Or is this a friendship?
Right now, I'm very guarded about my space. So
nothing wrong with that.
I'm not trying to have any friends either. If you are not in this circle, you cannot come in right now. I'm just not there right now. So anybody that I meet right now is going to mainly be networking. We network friends. We network associates, not friends. Because I take my friendships very seriously. And also because I've gone through ups and downs in friendships. I actually last year had a switch in a friendship, and that taught me a lot about what our expectations are and how we're placing those expectations in that friendship. And right now I know that I only have a certain amount of space for a certain level of expectation coming from me towards the other person and vice versa. So I can't engage and be in anything more meaningful if we are not on the same level of expectation. And that vetting process is similar to business as well as my relationships. I'm watching how you're treating me, your consistency with me, or what your expectation of consistency from me is. Because if you want to be sitting up on the phone all day, I ain't got that right now. I don't have it, right? And I'm not going to put myself in that position. If you react a certain way because I don't have that to give to you, that is also a flag for me. That's not a flag in a whole relationship in general, but a flag for me. If, how you support me and vice versa, what does support look like to us both? So I'm watching to see what that looks like. Are you supporting me? Are you sharing stuff for my stuff? Am I sharing for you? Is that being reciprocated? Right. If I don't see that, then I kind of know that the friendship could possibly end up being one-sided. I'm not saying that it definitely means that way. Not all the time, but I mean, that's what I'm looking for and needing in my life right now.
I think vetting equals getting clarity. Like through it all, from business to relationships to friendships, when we talk about what are the expectations, right? There has to be a lot of asking questions to get clarity, because if I say, well, you should know what to expect from me, right? But if you don't know me, how can you know what to expect? And so then you might put your expectations of what you expect on me, and it's not the same. So I think we need to do more asking questions, both sides, because you're not having a conversation with you in the mirror and you in the wall, right? You're having a conversation with you and another person, whether this be a business partnership, hiring a contractor or employee, whether you're networking to do business together, whether it's relationships, getting to know someone, whether it's if you're going to establish a friendship or whatever the case, right?
Yes.
You have to ask plenty of questions, both sides, and get
Both
clarity.
sides.
What does this mean? When you say consistency, you want to hear from me consistently throughout the week. Well, my definition of consistency throughout the week and yours might be different. You might hear from me once a week.
Yeah, and also being honest.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times people don't really state what they really want out of fear of looking like, well, I don't want to be this person, or I don't want to look like single black female. Like, no, but state what you need. If these are the things that you need, really be honest and clear about it so that that person can really let you know if they can fulfill those needs and wants.
This is a whole nother topic, but sometimes a lot of people don't know what they want.
I agree,
Yeah.
but I also
they think
feel
they know what
that
they want
sometimes
until they get it.
they also are not being honest.
That's true too. That's possible.
I think that a lot of people don't know fully what they want, but I also think that they're not being honest about what they really truly need and what they really truly want.
So that just comes from date yourself.
Yeah.
Be in tune with yourself, because if you're looking for things to fill like a void in your life or whatnot, then you really don't know. You're just trying to fill a void. So sometimes you have to just separate yourself from everything and spend time getting to know you as an individual. What do I like? How, this is how I would want someone to treat me. So that kind of boils down to getting to know you.
Exactly. So to wrap this up, with vetting is knowing yourself and knowing your wants and being very clear and concise in that. And then also doing what Connie calls the OWL. Observe, watch, and listen. And I feel like that both those things can go into business, personal, friendships, and relationships.
Absolutely.
But thank you guys for tuning in with us. Again, make sure if you like what you see, subscribe, like, comment. We see some comments on there. We thank you. Continue to comment.
Yes, make sure you're emailing us with your questions, or if you want some tips, anything that you want us to talk about, share insights, make sure you send us an email.
And again, thank you for the Lit Creator for keeping us lit at all times.
Lit at all times.
So make sure you check them out. But until the next time, again, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Connie. Make sure you are following us.
All right, till the next time. Bye.